There are grown-ups who don't pray, and usually it's because of it could be because of traumatic experiences of the past. So maybe they were forced to pray, or their parents were really forceful on them, and so now they're grown-ups and they say that they don't want to pray because when they do, it gives them this flashback of their lifetime, when they were kids. So I'm just wondering, when it comes to young kids, and how do we try to encourage them to pray without being so forceful or kind of making them feel discouraged?
Okay, first of all, Akhi, such people are a very tiny, small minority who refuse to pray allegedly and claiming that this is due to a previous trauma when they used to be forced to pray. Such a minority, such people are most likely hypocrites, full-fledged hypocrites, because you cannot come and claim that you are a result of a practice that we are instructed to do and follow in the Sunnah. This is agreed upon Muslims. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, instruct your children to pray when they're 7, and beat them up for not praying when they are 10. 3 years, 5 days, 5 times a day, 360 days a year. You tell your child, pray Fajr, pray Dhuhr, pray Maghrib, pray Asr, pray Isha. And you instruct him to do that. You advise him, no force used, no compulsion. For 3 years, it's I wouldn't say brainwashing, it's heart washing. So he sees everybody's praying. He's reluctant, he's lazy, then he's encouraged, then he's looking up to it, then he's feeling good because everybody is praying, he's one of the community. For 3 years, 360 days, 5 times a day. After all of this advice and reminding, if the child does not pray, then we are allowed to spank him without breaking a bone, without leaving a mark on his body, without making him shed any blood, it's not torture. It's just a spank to bring him back to his senses. And he's 10 years of age. We are entitled to upbring him in an Islamic way with compassion and love. So if after all of that, a grown-up in his teens or someone in his 20s, he says, I don't pray because of a previous trauma, because of what my father used to do to me, he's a full-fledged hypocrite. We can't do anything. You can't force a horse to drink. You can drag the horse all the way, a couple of miles, to the river, and it will follow you, but you can't force it to drink. And likewise, this individual who claims that such a trauma is preventing him from praying, he's a blatant liar. If this person comes out of a bank with a bag that has $1 million in it, and he accidentally drops it behind him and he doesn't see it, or if he's walking and there's a hole with gators and snakes and scorpions, and he's about to make one step and fall into it, and if I am his fierce enemy, if I shouted from across the street and cursed him, slandered him, called him names, made him agitated, and I said, listen, you dropped $1 million behind you, or there's a hole in front of you that is filled with reptiles and animals that would eat you alive, would he adhere and stop? Though he hates my guts, and if he could, he would have killed me? Or would he say, I'm not going to listen to him, let the $1 million go down the drain, and I'm going to fall in this pit and let me die? Of course not. So subhanAllah, why when it comes to saving your neck from hellfire and admitting you to Jannah, you are defiant, and you claim that it's a trauma that was caused by your parents or your grandparents or whoever. And when it's worldly issues, you would listen even if it was your fierce enemy. This doesn't make any sense, Akhi.